Hi everybody, and thank you for joining us on our Thursday TNT. Two things I just want to do up front. Firstly, thank David Burke. David very kindly noticed that I'd had to sort of do some quick new little sweepers between the segments, and he went and downloaded some of the old programs to cut out some of the old sweepers, which I haven't had a chance to use yet, David, but thank you very much for going to all that trouble. I'm slowly getting myself sorted out. The old Mac is being looked at today, and I'll find out whether I need to get a new one or not. If I do, it's going to be a few months as I save up. Also to Tom Altman. Tom, I hope you're feeling better. You've been through a pretty rough few months, so good wishes and wishing you well, and hopefully you'll get back to the island very soon. Now, moving on with our program, and a few things to follow up, starting with this one. And reported in thepatianews.com. Thai police address conflict between Thai and Filipino transgender people on Soi Sukhumvit 11. If you don't know what happened, we'll go through the details in a moment. But this is the fallout. And there were two separate cases. One, there were a total of 6 Thai people who allegedly were attacked by 20 Filipino people in the early morning of March the 4th. And 2 Filipino people were facing legal action for conspiring to assault other persons. And 1 more Filipino person was under police investigation. Now, another case was on March the 4th, the night of the so-called transgender veterans incident. Good heavens, call them anything, but don't call them old. In which 1 Filipino transgender person was physically attacked by a Thai person, publicly identified only as Mr. Champ. But that situation in the next paragraph was mediated. However, 1 person in particular, a social media influencer, allegedly initiated the protest, leading to an escalated situation involving more than 100 people in Soi Sukhumvit 11. And the police summoned the unidentified Thai person who posted the social media posts to gather on March the 4th. Well, that could lead to a charge of inciting riots, which is taken very seriously. And police emphasised that the incident had nothing to do with relations between Thailand and the Philippines, and the issues were addressed by the Philippine ambassador to Thailand for mutual understanding. Thank heavens, war averted. The BangkokPost.com is covering the story. 2 Filipinos charged over transgender brawl, and 1 suspect apologises and blames language barrier for misunderstanding that escalated. Misunderstanding or prostitute turf war, take your pick. And police said the brawl would not affect bilateral relations between the 2 countries, as it was a personal matter. The Philippine embassy also understands the situation, and the commander also denied claims there were brokers who facilitated the presence of Filipino transgenders, and that the police were taking bribes to turn a blind eye to prostitution in the area. Well, further to that, the Bangkok Post reports police say no sex trade in transgender brawl street. I've got nothing to say. According to police, there's no sex trade in the Sukhumvit area of Bangkok, where Thai and Filipino transvestites brawled on Monday night. The area he referred to is Soi Sukhumvit 11 and its vicinity in Watana district. The commander denied claims that there were brokers who facilitated the presence of Filipino transvestites, and that some police were taking bribes to turn a blind eye to prostitution in the area. And the chief of the Lumpini station said yesterday that Filipino people in the area were considered to be tourists, and there were no reports of, or accounts by Thai witnesses, of prostitution. Despite that particular issue being the direct claims of some of the Thai people involved in that brawl. Now, a follow-up to another story from yesterday. Nation Thailand reporting Swiss man arrested over alleged assault of Thai woman in Trang Mall. And a Swiss man, 60, was arrested on Tuesday after he allegedly assaulted and severely injured a Thai woman, 58, inside a shopping mall in the southern province of Trang. Strauman Dieter Matthias was taken to the main police station in the area for questioning, and police spent 9 hours trying to question him via an interpreter, but Matthias remained silent. Police then charged him that night with assaulting and injuring another person. Doubt whether he's really helping his situation. The Swiss man refused to sign an acknowledgement of the charge, and so police sought an order from the Trang court on Wednesday morning to temporarily hold him while they investigated. And the injured woman was identified as Natanan Kikam and was rushed to the intensive care unit of Trang Hospital. She suffered a broken nose, a bruised eye and a bruised back. Now, I'll leave this next 3 paragraphs. You can pause that if you want a recap of what happened in that incident, but it was reported the day before on TNT. And police said Matthias was living alone at his rented house after his Thai girlfriend left him following a series of quarrels. That man will be having his day in court as well. A lot of comments yesterday, I think about 370, 380. Just these two. This one from Sluxy. The alleged actions of both Swiss nationals are certainly unacceptable, but you can't help but notice how at least the one kicking the doctor is facing consequences even before going through the legal process that is supposed to figure out whether or not he's actually guilty of anything. And this one from Brandon Lesko. When the media has mass coverage on a topic like a foreigner assaulting a local woman, every similar encounter will also gain attention. Chances are many such incidents wouldn't normally gain headlines, let alone make the news. And we look forward to your comments on those particular updates. Now, in just a moment, I suppose things you could put under a list of the law of unintended consequences. This is TNT. And a big thanks to our sponsor, 5 Star Marine at 5starmarinephuket.com. Big thanks to Sean and his team for their ongoing support of the program. Now, another beautiful day here in the south of Thailand as I'm looking out across the Andaman Sea. From where I'm sitting, I'd like to be out there on a boat on Phangar Bay. If you are coming down to Phuket, make sure you contact Sean and the team and make a booking with them. You can check all the details at that website, 5starmarinephuket.com. All right, unintended consequences. Number 1, BangkokPost.com reporting nominee search turns up 400 firms. Now, a lot of companies are set up in Thailand for foreigners with a Thai nominee who ends up holding 51% of the shares and leaving the foreigner with some 49%. Now they can write the constitution and organise the banking details, so the foreigner basically is running the company, but these are called Thai nominee companies. And more than 400 companies in popular tourism cities tend to operate their businesses using nominees, according to the Business Development Department. Well, they, like other Thai departments, have been stirred into action in recent days. And the major tourism provinces include Phuket, Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Suratani and Chonburi. Well, Suratani mostly meaning Koh Samui, Chonburi mostly meaning Pattaya. And in-depth inspections were conducted on businesses in the hospitality sector, including those managing tour guides, restaurants, car rentals and hotels, and real estate. And the agency found that 419 firms may be acting as business nominees. 313 of them were ordered to submit more documents for verification. I actually got calls from 2 people yesterday saying that they'd had a visit from Thai officials over this matter. And 59 firms are suspected to be operating as nominees in Phuket, and one of the 59 firms is the Elephant Sanctuary Park Phuket, run by David Fair, 45, and he of course was that Swiss man who we've heard a lot about over the past 3 or 4 days. An investigation showed that firm was registered as a tour guide business with 3 shareholders. And checks confirmed 51% of the shares are held between the Swiss man's wife and another Thai, while the remaining 49% is owned by Mr. Fair. Thus, the firm is not considered to be operating under a nominee, because the Thai people involved were directly involved with the operation of the business. And another one, BangkokPost.com, American woman caught running illegal nursery on Koh Phangan. and about 20 foreign children were found on the premises. According to police, 3 foreign women working as babysitters and 4 Myanmar housekeepers were also arrested and charged with working illegally. A team of immigration, tourist and local police and officials raided a rented walled-off house at a coconut plantation in Village Mu 3 in Tambon Kopangan on Wednesday morning. Inside they found about 20 foreign children aged 3 to 5, along with desks, chairs, toys and teaching materials and meals for children. 3 women tourists were working there as babysitters, 1 Ukrainian, 2 Israelis and 4 Myanmar women as housekeepers. No suggestions in any way that those children were suffering, but the people operating and working at the business apparently without the correct documents. Heading to nationthailand.com with another one of these, unintended consequences. 3 Russians nabbed in Phuket over car rental business without permit. And 3 Russians were arrested in Phuket on Tuesday evening and charged with working without a work permit after they were found operating a car and motorcycle rental firm. A 38-year-old, 2 34-year-olds were taken to the Cheungtile police station for prosecution. Acting on a tip-off, police went to check the vehicle rental shop and found the 3 Russians operating the firm. They failed to show their work permits and were taken to the police station to face charges. Phuket police have been stepping up checks on foreigners working in Phuket following an incident late last month in which the Swiss owner of an elephant park is alleged to have attacked a Thai doctor on a beach. And from Phuket to Hua Hin, and Phuket incident rekindles calls for demolition of buildings on the Hua Hin beach. And a recent incident in Phuket's Yamu beach has prompted people in Hua Hin to renew calls for the demolition of a long row of restaurants and buildings encroaching on its main beach. Good heavens, I've been reporting this one for over 10 years. And the page said the situation in Hua Hin was far more serious than at Yamu Beach in Phuket, yet the district chief and Hua Hin municipality have not done anything to protect the public interest. And the page added that the Marine Department, which is in charge of overseeing Thailand's sea territory, has never announced when these platforms over the sea will be removed. And the Facebook page also pointed out that though Prachuap Khiri Khan had a provincial anti-corruption office, like Phuket, it did not care to find out why the district chief and the Hua Hin municipality were doing nothing to protect the public interest. And several Hua Hin residents joined the discussion, criticising local authorities and even the national government for failing to take action against such notorious encroachment of the Hua Hin beach. And after the military took over the government back in 2014, General Prayut Chan-o-cha ordered the NCPO to send troops to try and reclaim the public space. However, the squatters refused to budge, saying it generated a huge income for them. That's the reason. Okay, well, you can stay. And though the court ruled that the tenants must leave as the buildings have to be demolished, they've stayed put and prefer paying daily fines instead. Sources said many of these buildings are owned by relatives of local politicians. Allegedly. And an official from the Hua Hin Land Office, who asked not to be named, said these buildings had been encroaching on the beach for more than 30 years. This area was initially used by the local community for fishing, but that stopped once the buildings took over the beach. I suspect I'll probably be reporting that same story in about 10 years, but back to Phuket and nationthailand.com, and Phuket real estate boom sparks money laundering suspicions. And Phuket's property market is experiencing an unwarranted surge in prices, prompting the DSI to consider looking into the possibility of foreign mafia using real estate to launder money. And real estate prices in Phuket have risen by 15 to 20%. In some locations, it's risen 50 or 100%. And Metapong Upatasing, the president of the Phuket Real Estate Association, attributes the surge to several factors. Phuket's seen an influx of affluent Russians opting to invest in villas and condominiums, and Phuket's many amenities, including international schools, good transport infrastructure, a deep sea port for yachts and a golf course, many golf courses, are attracting wealthy foreigners. It says some land prices have gone up from 3 million baht per rai to about 9 million baht, and land along the beach has risen to 40 million baht per rai, while prime spots like Patong see a single rai going for about 120 million baht. And the managing director of Knight Frank Thailand admitted that Russian buyers dominate the market, having snapped up 40 to 60% of properties on sale compared to 10 to 15% previously. The DSI has raised concerns that foreigners may be buying property to cover criminal activities such as falsely pushing up property prices, avoid paying taxes in their home countries, using as a front for criminal syndicates, shifting funds from illegal sources for laundering purposes, holding clandestine gatherings of foreign criminals, covertly integrating digital currencies within the framework of currency exchange businesses. Now, you could map all that onto property right around the hotspots and the tourism favourites around Thailand, not just Phuket. But that story reported by nationthailand.com. And to some other news today. How's Thaksin going? How's his recovery? Well, BangkokPost.com reporting Thaksin likely to get okay for Chiang Mai visit. Originally a resident of Chiang Mai, and the former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, who's been released on parole and is now on probation at home, will likely be permitted to make a short trip to his hometown of Chiang Mai. This according to the Department of Probation. And his daughter, Patongtan, was quoted as saying her father would like to travel to Chiang Mai to pay respects to his dead relatives at the Shinawatra family graveyard. And if the proposed trip is short and will help the 74-year-old ex-premier heal mentally and physically, the travel request should be approved, and in this case it will be considered a temporary change of accommodation about which the probation officers concerned need to be notified in advance. And to the current Prime Minister, once again the BangkokPost.com, Seta sets off for Berlin and Paris. The government will push for a free trade agreement between Thailand and the EU, visa exemption for holders of Thai passports, and greater cooperation in trade and investment as the PM embarks on an official visit to Germany and France. And during the week-long visit, the PM's also scheduled to meet business leaders in the aviation, automobile parts, tourism, fashion and retail industries. He'll also attend ITB Berlin, a huge travel show, and MIPIM 2024, and deliver a speech at the annual reception of the German Association for Small and Medium-Sized Businesses. So we wish the current and the former Prime Ministers well on their travels. And that wraps up today's quick look at things happening around Thailand. Hopefully you're a bit more up to date. Now please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. That'd be great. Otherwise, thanks for all the good viewing numbers, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.